welcome to Getting To Know ACS with Tracy
and Jasmine.
So, Jasmine, today we're going to talk about holiday stress because we are coming into the holidays and there's a lot of things that can stress you out. Even though the holidays are, supposed to be, let's have fun and get together with family. It doesn't always go that good.
Right.
So let's talk about some holiday stress. So what kind of questions you got about stress in the holidays?
So I guess techniques, right? So let's talk about techniques on how to relieve some of the stress, because the holidays do actually bring so much stress between buying gifts, hanging around with family, visiting 4 different houses on Christmas Day, getting the kids ready, all of that good stuff. So, can you tell us some techniques or tricks or?
So, we'll talk about techniques.
Yeah.
But first, let's talk about the stressors. And then we'll talk about what we can do to relieve those stressors.
Yes.
So, one of the stressors I know, especially with military families, is not having our extended family around.
Yes.
And trying to make our own traditions and that type of thing. And there's a lot of pressure because it's I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm going to invite all these people over.
Yes.
And if you're like me, that used to stress me out when they would invite people over because I was not that confident in my cooking,
Yes.
Now I don't care.
Right.
You get what you get. But, those type of things can cause stress because we're not around family.
Right.
But another thing that causes stress is going to visit family. And when we're a couple or, as a family going to visit our family, that can be stressful.
Yeah.
Depending on where your family is, the amount of hours that you're in the car. And, that's one way to really get to know your spouse. We've been talking about knowing. So that's one way to get to know your spouse. Go on a long road trip and see how well you do in the car. But driving to another location, I think the key to overcoming that stress is communication.
Yes.
You have to have communication with each other and start talking about what your expectations are. Because as you mentioned, going to all these different houses. Now, if I just drove 12 hours to come see you, and then all my extended relatives think I'm supposed to drive to all their houses, guess what? I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I just drove 12 hours. You can drive 5 minutes to come see me.
Yes.
But we have to talk about that before we get there.
Yes. Okay. And not only that. So you have, I'm going to pick on the husbands or the spouses. Okay.
Husbands, spouses.
So when they go visit family, sometimes they change their personality depending on who they're around. For me, I know that can be we are not chameleons. Act the way that you act, right? Because they act a certain way in front of you. This is for females or wives or whatever, the spouse, anybody. They get around certain people, they change their whole demeanor. Sometimes it can be obnoxious, and sometimes it's why are you so quiet? So that's a big stressor too, because you have to almost mentally prepare yourself because they don't realize that they're doing it, right? They're just with old friends that maybe they shouldn't be around anymore.
And that's the thing, and it's not so much being a chameleon though, but when we go home, when we go back to where we grew up, we go back into those roles that we had.
Yes.
So when I go home and all my family is there, I'm the youngest. So I go back into that role of being the youngest.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm in that role all the time anyway. I'm just bossy.
Right. Yes.
But you go back into that role. And just like with our parents, here I am grown with my own grandchild.
Yeah.
And I'm still intimidated by my parents. And if they say, "Oh, Tracy, you need to do this," guess what? Yeah. Tracy's going to do it. So I'm glad you brought that up because one technique that you can do to relieve stress is to learn to say no.
Oh, I have mastered it.
We have to learn to say no.
Yeah.
Because when we don't say no, when we're saying yes to everything, we're overextending ourselves. And especially during the holidays, we will continually to say yes, yes, yes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cook this. I'm going to help you with this. And we're overextending ourselves and we get stressed out. And then we don't get to enjoy the holiday.
Right.
So we have to understand, when we're at home, this is a conversation you need to have with your partner. when we're at home, if you want to go hang out with your friends, I don't have a problem with that. Or if you do have a problem with that, let them know why you have a problem with that.
Right.
Talk about the expectations. It's like, okay, if both our families live in the same town, how are we going to split the time up? Because, of course, my family wants you to be at my house for Christmas. Your family wants you to be at your house for Christmas.
Yeah.
So how do we, or whatever holiday you're celebrating, how do we split that time up? So that's a conversation that we need to have as a family before we even get home. So it's like, okay, maybe we can spend the morning at one house and the afternoon at another house. If you don't want to do that, then maybe Christmas Eve here, and then Christmas Day somewhere else, so just split that time up. If, for instance, like my thing is on Christmas morning, I make cinnamon rolls. So you know what, if you want those cinnamon rolls hot, you need to be at my house in the morning. You can go somewhere else and eat, whatever the case is. But those are conversations that you need to have.
Yes.
If you know that family gives you, or whoever you're visiting, if you know that household gives you anxiety, before you go in, or they stress you out, before you go in, while you're sitting in the car, do some deep breathing. And I know people get tired of hearing about deep breathing, but deep breathing does work. And you can do what's called the 5-5-7 method. And that's where you're going to breathe into the count of 5, hold for a count of 5, and then breathe out for a count of 7.
Yes.
So do you want to try that? And I'll count for you.
Okay. So
you're going to breathe in your mouth, in through your mouth.
Okay.
For a count of 5.
Okay.
You're going to hold it for a count of 5, and then you're going to breathe out through your nose for a count of 7.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, let's try it.
Okay, so breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, practice that before you do it. Like, wow, I ran out of breath.
And you do that.
No, but that's good.
So you can do that for a minimum of 5 rounds.
Okay.
And then that's going to lower your stress level before you go into that situation. Okay. Another thing that you can do is essential oils. All right. So some essential oils you can just put, there's bracelets that they have that have like lava stones on them, or necklaces that have lava stones on them.
Yes.
And then you put the essential oil on that lava stone, and then you just kind of smell it. If it's on your wrist, bring your hand up to your nose, wrist up to your nose, and kind of wave it around to kind of calm you down.
Yes.
And as we go further in, I'll talk about specific essential oils.
Yes.
So that's one thing that you can do. Also, another thing that people stress out about over the holidays is, I got to buy all these gifts. You don't have to.
Right.
It's make sure that you're looking at your budget and don't overextend yourself. Because in that moment where you're having that high of like, oh, my kids are getting all this, or my partner, I'm going to get them this most expensive thing. And then in January, when you get that bill, you're like, ooh, what did I do?
Now you just brought more stress for the rest of the 2022,
because it's probably going to take you all year to pay it off, or whatever, unless you're just really disciplined.
Right.
And you pay it off in a couple of months. It's not, start making other traditions. Don't always make it about the gifts. You don't have to spend, have the most and best. And once people will stress themselves out, especially when there's that hot toy that's out there, trying to get that, it's like, oh, my child has to get this. But you know what? If you get all this other stuff, are they really going to be concerned that they didn't get that one gift?
Right.
And if they didn't get it and they're disappointed, then, that's a learning lesson right there to say, we don't always get what we want, or whatever, however you want to parent.
Yes.
But just remember that also causes you stress.
Yes.
Holiday parties. Mandatory fun sometimes.
Yes, mandatory.
And we don't want to go to the party. And if I don't want to go to the party, what do we do, Jasmine?
We set boundaries.
Exactly.
Yes.
Set boundaries and say no. Or if I'm going, this is how long I'm going to be there. Again, it's about setting up those expectations.
Yes.
A lot of times the meals that you cook, that can be stressful. That is the biggest thing for me.
Yes.
That used to stress me out to no end because, like I said, my confidence in my cooking was not that high. And then I was like, okay, if it's just my immediate family, I don't have an issue cooking.
Okay.
Because you're used to eating my food. But then when you start layering in, oh, I'm going to invite this person or this extended family member's coming over, the pressure is real. And that would stress me out.
Yes.
And guess what? You have to get to the point to say, you know what? If I'm not comfortable cooking a full-blown traditional holiday meal, cook something that you are comfortable cooking.
Yes.
Where does it say that I have to have a ham on Christmas or I have to have a turkey on Thanksgiving?
Right, right.
You know, if I want to have seafood, guess what? Let me have seafood
There we
today.
go. Yeah.
And here in El Paso, you know, grill.
Oh, yeah. Weather's always nice.
Because the weather is nice. I mean, even if our weather is bad, I mean, if it's cold, it's like, oh, it's 40 degrees outside.
Right, right. The sun is out.
Yeah, the sun is out. Go out there. The heat from the grill is going to warm you up. Grill you some food. Do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to always have the traditional things, especially if it's going to stress you out. I know there was did we have a shortage? They said there was a shortage of turkeys. I didn't
There's
ever
a
see
shortage
it.
of everything right now.
There is. And so if you're stressing about, oh, I can't find this turkey or whatever, that's where you have to start thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, you know, remember, you know, what the reason is, why we're celebrating. Okay.
Right,
and
right.
make new traditions and that type of thing. So those are some things that we need to think about,
Yeah.
you know, that causes us stress during the holiday.
Yes. And with the cooking, I do want to mention, I know for me, I don't cook. I absolutely hate cooking. It's not my thing. So I did end up putting boundaries with my extended family, right? Like, I'm not cooking nothing. I'm not going to go to the store because I don't drive the month of December in El Paso unless it's to work and back home. So I would just order in Washington. I would go to the local winery. I'm like, hey, here's some wine. That's all I brought. I will not stress myself out over this because then it's going to ruin the whole experience, right? And I don't want to take it on to the rest of the day. So now I have some wine. We're all relaxed. Everybody's good.
Yeah, stress reliever, have some wine.
Right.
But see, I like that. You set a boundary. It's like, I don't cook, so this is what I can offer. And even if, you know, if people are not wine drinkers or whatever,
there's some water.
Sparkling water. You know, get them some sparkling grape juice or whatever the case may be, something that's festive.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with buying desserts.
Yeah.
You know, some people get all stressed out saying, "Oh, I have to get this dessert. I have to, you know, I have to make it. I'm going to make the dough.
Yes.
I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to make the filling." That is not me, if y'all can't tell.
Yeah.
I do make homemade desserts, but pie, no. But, you know, it's stressing out about that. You know, a few years ago, people were knocking down Walmart trying to get them Patti LaBelle sweet potato pies.
Yes.
Go get one.
It's not necessary. It is not necessary.
Yeah, or just buy it and pop it in the oven and say, "Hey, look what I made."
They have no idea, right?
Exactly. I warmed it up. That constitutes cooking it.
Yes, exactly.
So, you know, if you feel like buying something, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not less of a person because you did not cook this full-blown meal. There's some restaurants, I believe they still do this, that would do the whole
yes,
the whole meal for you.
You order it.
Yeah, you order it. They give you the turkey, the stuffing or dressing, whatever you want to call it, the cranberry sauce. Ugh. They give you all of that, and all you have to do is go pick it up, and there's your meal. That's, you know what? There. I don't have to worry about being in the kitchen all night. Another thing that can often, when you talk about cooking, if I'm the one cooking, some people have a problem with, okay, I'm in the kitchen cooking, and y'all in there laughing and playing games and stuff, and I'm feeling left out. If that's a problem for you, then again, tell people that, you know what, if y'all gonna be here, I need you to be in here helping me.
Right, right.
Now, for me, I grew up in a family where Christmas Eve was really the big deal.
Okay.
You know, my grandmother, my aunt, my mother, they'd all be in the kitchen cooking. We were playing games all night.
Yes.
And it was basically you fell asleep wherever you were at.
Yes.
You know, but there wasn't an issue that some people were cooking and some people were playing games, because at some point everybody got involved. But if that is an issue, then you need to make sure that you're voicing that.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit. Now let's get into the techniques. Did I miss any other area where there might be stress besides the driving to someplace, being around extended family, inviting people over?
Definitely the traffic and everywhere, because all the stores are super packed. Everybody's trying to get that last minute shopping in. Your sardines in the store, that's like that I will cancel the entire month. Okay, like Christmas is done. So that can add it, because you're stuck in traffic. You're dealing with all this. Then you go home. Now you have to cook. Now you're cussing somebody out probably.
Right.
And you're like on a short fuse.
And this is the thing with that. And I'm glad you brought that up, because the thing with, you know, traffic, being in the store and everybody's fighting for everything, or you're in a super long line. This is where, you know, these are skills that you can learn, putting stuff in perspective. It's like, okay, if I'm in this line, I'm in the line. This is a point where you can start being grateful, you know, to count your blessings, so to say. It's like, okay, well, at least I'm able to be here to purchase this. Me being in this line for, you know, however long, really how does that fit into the big scheme of things?
Right.
Is it really a big deal? This is a good time for you, you know, if you're somebody who likes to talk to people, then turn around to the person behind you, start talking to them to make the time go a little quicker. It's also, when you think about being in lines, this is also a good time to show grace. You know, it's like, okay, I have all this basket full of stuff, and this person behind me has 3 items.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Is it going to hurt so much if I just say, you know what, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go ahead of me. Because you don't know what people are going through. And just like you're stressed out, when you get all those people congested together who are all stressed out, the energy
is just off.
It's horrible. And that's when people start going off. That's when people start cussing you out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you bumped me with the cart and all that stuff. But let's just put it in perspective. Bring it down. It's like, is it really that bad? Because we have to take our own onus. You know, it's like, I'm the one who decided to wait till now.
Right. And if you're in a rush, that's just a bad from the get-go, right? Like, try to plan accordingly. I know sometimes you have to go grab this one thing, but do you really got to go to like a supermarket, or can you go to a neighborhood, right?
Exactly.
I'm super lazy. I will be like, all right, if we just go here real quick, I can plan out my whole trip.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to Instacart it because somebody can deliver it to me and I'm happy still.
And that, okay? Because if you know that you get upset in crowds and you don't want to drive, there's so many options now. You know, you can plan for pickup. All you got to do is go pull up into the stall and tell them that you're there. It's like, okay, here they come. They put it in your trunk and you go on your way.
Yes.
Or have it delivered. You know, so there's so many ways to avoid that, but we have to really start putting ourselves in a space that, like, okay, how can I bring this level down? Because that's self-induced stress.
Right.
You know, I don't have to be out there in that. If you're like me, because I was one of those people, I waited till the last week before Christmas to go shopping. But I would have a plan.
Okay.
I knew exactly what store I was going to. I knew what I was looking for. I go in there, boom, 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 and I'm home.
Yes.
Okay. So, and I know that I'm out there in the crowd because I waited till the last minute. I'm not going to get mad at everybody else who also waited till the last minute. It's like, I'm not the only one who
We are the same.
So let's all be happy together.
Right. And I do want to put a disclaimer. During the holidays, try to be mindful of the workers. There's a shortage. For some reason, people cannot get people
to work.
And most of these people are just young, trying to pay their bills, and they're working the holidays. Like, there's no reason to be super rude.
And you know, because it always kills me when people say something like, well, it's not my fault that you're working a minimum wage job. How rude is that?
That's,
You know, it's like, oh, you chose to be in customer service. well, maybe this is the only job I get.
And they're trying to pay for college. Like, they're not going to be like what is it called? An executive assistant.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like, just like you're frustrated, they're frustrated. So like I said, when you show somebody some grace or just tell them, you know, smile at them. You don't know how much your energy, if you have positive energy, how much that energy can affect someone, you know, just by being kind to them. Yeah. It's like, it's okay. I understand you having a rough day. I'll go ahead and load up my groceries.
That's it. I'm in a rush, girl.
I had time.
Just kidding.
I know. Don't do that. But yeah, so when you're doing this, so let's prepare for going into these situations.
Okay.
So some of the things that we can do, and we already did our little breathing exercise. Like I said, if you think we talk about deep breathing, or you've been hearing about deep breathing a lot and you're like, I don't want to know about that, believe me, it really does work. There are scientific studies that show that deep breathing does bring down stress levels. It brings down anxiety levels. But the thing is, you have to be open to it. Yeah. If you're sitting there breathing and saying, oh, this is not going to work, then of course it's not, because you're letting your negative energy stay up in the forefront of your mind. Yeah. So some of the things that we can do is essential oils. During the holidays, you know, when you have a house full of people, if you want to calm yourself, you know, or keep the energy calm, then do essential oils that are calming. So I wrote down some because I'll forget them. So calming essential oils, of course, everybody knows about lavender.
Yes.
You know, and this is one thing I will say about lavender. If you get some lavender essential oils, so say you've been up cooking all night or whatever, spray some of that lavender essential oil on your pillowcase and you will sleep so good. Okay. Or just go take you a bath with lavender in there and it'll diffuse, you know, help you relax. Yeah. Chamomile, you know, people have heard of chamomile tea, which is relaxing, but the scent of chamomile is also calming oil. Frankincense is a common oil. Bergamot. And I don't know how to say this word, and I even tried to YouTube it, and nobody says it the same way. Lang Lang, the YLANG.
I know what you're talking about. Yes, I don't. Yeah.
They say it's either Elang Lang. I heard people say Lang Lang, Elang Lang, Y Lang Lang, Y Lang. I don't know, but it's Lang Lang. Okay. Okay. And Jasmine. Those are essential oils that will help calm you down. So you can kind of diffuse that. Now, you know, it's during the holidays. I don't know if you want to put everybody to sleep, but if you're stressing, infuse it into your room, into your bedroom, take a few minutes and get away from the crowd and just kind of relax yourself. But now, if you're stressing, a lot of these oils that are calming oils, they're stress oils too. They help relieve stress. But on top of those oils that we just mentioned, lemon will help relieve stress. Lemongrass. If you use lemongrass, make sure people around you like it, because I hate lemongrass. And it anyway, that's just me. I go off topic. Orange will help you de-stress. Bergamot, which I already mentioned, and again, Lang Lang, lavender, those type of things. A lot of times during the holiday seasons, you will smell cinnamon and peppermint. Those are energizing. So if you are stressed out and you're diffusing peppermint throughout your house, everybody else is getting energized, and it's probably going to send your stress levels up, because peppermint is an energizer. Yes. Now, when people think that, oh, I heard peppermint is calming, it's calming for your stomach. You know, like if you have a queasy stomach or something like that, then peppermint can be very calming for that. But for your mental well-being, peppermint is energizing. So, you know, if you take a shower with peppermint in the morning, it wakes you up because it's energizing. Yes. Okay. So if you're trying to calm down the situation, or you're trying to get everybody to relax, take the peppermint oil out. Okay. I wanted to mention too that there is, if you have a diffuser and you're into essential oils and you're feeling depressed or you're just feeling down, you can do an uplifting diffuser blend. So what that consists consists of is you want to do 20 drops of clary sage, 20 drops of frankincense, 30 drops of grapefruit oil, and 30 drops of lavender. And then you put that into your, mix that all together first. And then you want to put it into your diffuser. And then that will give you, it's uplifting. It makes you happy. Okay. So that's some things that you can do. With the bergamot oil, you can actually take the bergamot oil, put it on a cloth, and then just kind of smell it. You know, if you start feeling yourself getting a little anxiety attack or something like that, smell it. Or again, like I mentioned earlier, the lava bracelets or necklaces, just wear that around and it will help bring you down.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So another thing that you can do, which I know we've talked about this before, is tapping.
Yeah. Okay.
So tapping is when you are actually tapping on acupuncture spots on your body. And as you're doing that, you're going to say little mantras to yourself. And sometimes you don't have to say a mantra. If you're just wanting to calm down, you can just tap on the different spots. So when you're tapping, first you have what's called the karate chop point, and that's where you always start. That's the fatty part that's right underneath your pinky. You start there, tap there for a few minutes. And then from there, you're going to go to your eyebrow point. So that's the center where your eyebrow, the fat part of your eyebrow, I guess, in the center of your head there. You're going to tap there. And then you're going to move to the side of your face, right between where your eyebrow ends, but not quite on your temple. You're going to tap there. Then you're going to follow that around to under your eye, follow that bone under your eye. When you get to the center, you're going to tap on that area. And then you're going to tap under your nose, between your nose and your upper lip. Then you're going to tap under your chin, between your lower lip and your chin, that little indentation spot. Your collarbone would be next, then under your arm. If you go straight across your arm, right, for ladies, it's going to be where your bra strap is at. For men, if you just go straight across, it's going to be right there. Okay. And then you go tap on top of your head, you know, and you just do a round of that. Yeah. It looks crazy, but it will calm you down because you are hitting acupuncture points. And when you hit those acupuncture points, you're releasing energy into the different meridians of your body. Yeah. And that helps you calm down as well. So you can just step away and just tap away and then come back and feel refreshed. Okay. But those are a couple of techniques that you can use to help bring down the stress level. Okay. The easiest one to me, in my opinion, is the essential oils. Yes. Just because even if you don't want everybody else smelling it, you know, you can have it on your body, you know, to just be smelling it. One thing about essential oils, though, that I do want to bring up is that you want to make sure that when you select an essential oil, do your research, because some essential oils are not good for children under a certain age, and some essential oils, if you have pets, are not good for pets. Even though everybody like during the holiday season, peppermint is really good, but peppermint is not necessarily healthy for children. Okay. So if you have children and you're diffusing a bunch of peppermint in your house, you might want to rethink that. Yeah. Okay. And if you're pregnant too, to rethink that. Yeah. And another technique that you could do if things get really bad is just go take a walk. Like just do a walking meditation. That is what they're called. Look at Jasmine doing some stuff over there. And that's true. Yeah. Doing walking meditation, getting out, getting some fresh air. Yeah. And a walking meditation is just walking. You don't close your eyes or anything. You're just like walking, maybe reviewing your thoughts a little bit, getting your anger out. That way nobody gets into an altercation during Christmas break. Right. You know, and when you're doing a walking meditation, you, like Jasmine said, please don't close your eyes. Yeah, you need to pay attention. Pay attention what you're doing, because it's being very mindful. So you're going to listen to the sounds around you as you're going through your thoughts and stuff. Listen to, the leaves blowing down the street, because like when I walk my dog, that I don't know, I just love that sound of dry leaves getting blown.
Yeah.
But that's very soothing. You can even pay attention to the cars that are,
Yep.
the sound of the cars, that type of thing. Just being aware of your surroundings.
Right.
Also, another thing with getting outside, if you don't mind with being taking your shoes off, it's called grounding.
Yes.
And
usually just grass. So if you're out of town, that'll work.
yeah, if you're out of town, you need grass, but you can also do grounding in dirt.
Okay.
So I mean, your feet gonna get dirty, but
Yeah.
go wash them.
Yeah.
But that's very, that's a type of meditation where you just kind of stand there with your feet grounded on the ground, so that you become, it pulls your energy down so that you can become centered again.
Yes.
So all of those things, and as we've said before, ACS does offer stress management classes to help with any time of stress, because we can have stress anytime, not just during the holidays. For those who may feel like, what, it's only me, I'm by myself, get with your friends, who are also maybe by themselves. Have a friend gathering. Another thing to do is to give back.
Yes.
If you, even though a lot of times during the holidays, everybody is volunteering at the homeless shelters and that type of thing during the holidays because they have the extra time, but that's really the only time they think about it. But that is an excellent way, to make you realize how fortunate you are to be where you're at, but to give back. And even if you don't go to a homeless shelter, one thing that you can do is, there's a lot of homeless people out there. If you just put a little care package together, and it does, get stuff from the Dollar Tree and just go hand that out, and you'd be amazed how much that makes you feel better. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So anything else we want to talk about?
I would like to start being honest with family members. I know that's part of boundaries, but if you're like, oh, they're going to expect me to do this, this, and this, just tell them before you go, so that way they can't be mad while you're there, because you already told them the truth.
Told them.
So that has worked in my life amazing. And usually my gatherings are 2 other people outside of my family, or like outside of my immediate family. Right. I can't. So I feel like if you allow people to have these expectations that you're going to take on so much, then they're going to do it. But if they're just like, well, they don't do that, then that'll relieve the stress before it even gets there, because they already know what you will and will not do. Right. Which may not be good for everybody, because some of the family dynamics, they're just like, no, you have to. But you can say no.
But sometimes you have to say no, because sometimes saying no to other people is saying yes to yourself.
Yeah, and I will carry a tissue box. So if you want to cry about it, here you go. Wipe your face.
Now here's a tissue. But and that is important. Yeah. Like I said, we need to, even before we have these big gatherings, set expectations. Talk about what the expectations are. And if there's an expectation that's going on that you're not in agreement with, like you said, set that boundary and say,
That's especially with children, because your kids don't see that family, and then all of a sudden they're breaking all the rules you had for those children, and now you have to deal with those kids, whether they're on a sugar high. They don't know that grandma or grandpa says no, right? So now they're kind of getting spoiled, and it just makes your life a little difficult once you have to get back into routine.
And I know we're going a little long, but I'm glad you brought up the thing about children. That energy that you have, if you are stressed out, you're going to put that energy off on your kids. Your kids are going to start getting stressed out. If they notice that you're wound up all tight, then guess what? They're going to reflect that. So the more calm that you can be around your kids, the better it is for them as well. So I'm glad I know we had mentioned that we were going to talk about that, but then we forgot.
Yeah, I just.
So anyway, but thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But, any questions that you guys have, go down in the comments and we will answer those questions. If you want to know some other techniques for stress relief, again, put them in the comments, and I will go through and check and see, and I can give you some other type of stress relievers that you can do. Yoga is good.
Yoga, yes. And if you subscribe and follow us, we can give out an essential oil book that has the mixtures for different things. It's a lot too. It's a
a great book, especially if you are curious about
essential oils and mixtures and what they do, all the good stuff. So
as my children say, I mix potions. They work though.
Yes.
I'm not a witch. Anyway.
Yes.
So if you put that in there, good, just let us know. And whatever Jasmine just said about we're gonna give that book away, we're gonna do that.
Yeah. Just ask for one of us because we're gonna know where.
And it's only gonna be the first. How are we gonna do that? As far as giving the book away,
let's do the first 5.
Okay. First. Do we have 5 books?
Yes. Oh yeah, we have plenty. I did double check before we did this.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I don't know how many books. So the first 5 people that comment,
yes,
let us know, and guess what? You'll win a prize, and it'll be like a Christmas gift to you or a holiday gift.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with like a 12 days of Christmas or something for people that listen to us.
Oh yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, hope you guys have a happy holiday. As we're coming into the holidays, this will be airing right before. So
yes, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays.
Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff.
Keep your peace.
Set boundaries. And say no. It's okay to say no. People aren't gonna be mad. They'll be mad at you, but guess what?
Maybe not at work though. Don't do it at work.
No, don't say no at work. Yeah. If they ask you to do something, do it.
Do not tell them. Jasmine and Tracy said.
We can say no. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so again, thank you all for listening to our podcast today, and we will see you next time. This is Tracy.
And Jasmine. Bye.
Bye.